What a beautiful remix. We can see that the Dreamcast menu is very different from the PlayStation 1 menu, having different icons, and Spidey's character model looks a lot prettier. The kid mode gag is still in here though, so let's look at that.
Kid mode. Kid mode.
Kid mode.
Kid mode. Kid mode. Kid mode. Kid mode.
Technology is the light that will cut through the darkness. When humanity conforms to a single truth, a truth based in technological progress and scientific method, we will be unstoppable. I, Dr. Otto Octavius, vow as a scientist and businessman that my duties to humankind will be fulfilled. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, nice words, Octavius. If these executives knew you the way I do, I wonder if they'd be so quick to applaud.
Just keep shooting, Eddie. When J. Jonah Jameson sees these photos, my career is gonna be right back on track.
Checkpoint 1, where's your 20?
Just backstage, all is...
Who dares? Face me, coward! Face a worthy foe. Spider-Man?
Last time I checked, I was Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? What's he doing?
Gotta get into my costume and take out this imposter. I can't get free of this crowd.
I can't get a shot. Jameson would pay any price to get this kind of dirt on Spider-Man.
That was Eddie Brock.
Who the? He looked familiar, but... whatever, stay focused, Brock. He's stealing Octavius's device. Oh no, he sees me. My camera! No! Ah, it's over. It's all over. I blew it again. Oh, I can hear Jameson's voice already.
Brock, you loser! If I had given a real photographer that job, I would finally have the evidence to send Spider-Man away forever! You're through, Brock! When I am done with you, you won't be able to get a job taking wedding pictures in Siberia!
I tried to fight it. Can't fight it anymore!
Again, innocence falls prey to the evil of Spider-Man. Rest easy, Brock. Venom is here. And if it's the last thing we ever do, Jameson and the insect are gonna pay.
Phase 1 completed. Let us begin Phase 2.
Yeah! It's begin.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the Amazing Spider-Man, in a heap of trouble. But this is just the beginning, Spidey fans. So get ready for a true superhero action thriller, packed to the brim with thrills and chills, twists and turns, more supervillains than you can shake a web at, and of course, non-stop web-slinging, wall-crawling action.
Hey, Spider.
Hey, Black Cat, what's going on?
I know there's been some trouble, but the bank's being robbed, and they've got hostages. Use your Spidey compass to get to the bank quickly.
Thanks, Cat.
Did you see that the characters in the opening FMV actually had fingers, unlike the PS1 version? That's a massive improvement right there.
What's up, Cat?
Spidey! That's a web cartridge. You can carry up to 10 of them.
The web cartridges in this version have a much flashier animation than in the other versions. We of course use the web cartridges when we use our webbing. We can do exactly the things we could in Spider-Man 2000 with our webbing, which means pulling enemies, shooting impact webbing at them, or using a web shield or web gloves, but we'll get to all those when they're relevant. Right now we're just going to keep yanking enemies around by tugging on them. You'll notice, if you pay really close attention, that the webbing in this version has holes in it, like it was actually spun. Unlike the PS1 version where it's more of a single, solid strain. This is our first Easter egg billboard. It promises a biography on Cletus Cassidy, better known as Carnage. We learn about this enemy way before we actually see him thanks to our spider sense, which gives us a lot of time to sneak up on him. We can grab enemies if we get really close and punch them in the head or kick them. Punching them in the head repeatedly is almost a guaranteed defeat for them, but kicking them has the potential to smack them off ledges or into walls. These thugs are actually sturdy enough that smacking them into walls with our webbing isn't enough by itself to defeat them, but there are some thugs that are weak enough to be defeated by that in one shot.
Eagle 1 to tower, 1033 in progress, en route to bank.
Roger, Eagle 1. Keep your eye out for Spider-Man.
If Halloween Boy shows up, he's one dead bug.
New York City Police Department, cease and desist at once. Lay down your arms and prepare
to... These guys are serious.
I can't believe they shot down those police choppers.
Yeah, just my luck. I'll probably get blamed for that, too. Is that the bank ahead?
Yes, but be careful, Spider. I saw the chopper dropping off armed robbers on top of the bank.
Thanks for the heads up, Cat.
You can see up close and personal in that cutscene how much nicer the character models look than in the PS1 and Nintendo 64 versions. And we're not going to go to the bank first, we gotta come over here for a comic. I'm going to try and collect them all on the first go-through.
Looks like the Fantastic Four aren't around right now.
This comic wasn't very hidden, but some of them are going to be hidden in very evil ways later. Luckily I have them memorized, otherwise, well, you might see me blunder a lot, and no one wants that.
When I'm hurt, these will help restore my health.
Now that we're done goofing around on top of buildings, it's time to go to the bank. Almost. First we're going to come down to the very bottom of the bank because there's a giant hole in the building for some reason with a web cartridge in it. But that gives you time to appreciate that pretty much every single one of the textures looks a lot nicer than the original version of the game. You might think that's to be expected since the Dreamcast is technically a 7th gen console, but it did get quite a few ports of 6th gen games.
Cat was right. It's the Jade Syndicate.
The Dreamcast was in that weird spot the Wii was in, where nobody really knew whether to take it seriously as a next-gen console. So it got a lot of ports of games from last gen. I looked over there to show you that sign that just says The Bank, to show you that, yeah, this place is just called The Bank. Fighting these guys right here could actually be tricky if you aren't aware of the stealth mechanics. They can't actually see us up here. I should also use this opportunity to point out that the controls for the Dreamcast version that we're playing right now are virtually the same as the PlayStation 1 version, except that it has less shoulder buttons.
Easy as pie. That's the last one. Hope these hostages are still alright. I don't think he works here.
Well, he's definitely working here in the sense that he's getting work done here.
All clear.
These guys will actually talk to each other a lot more frequently than in the PS1 version. And these guys are weak enough to be defeated by one pull of our web yank. So that makes dispatching them a lot easier. That poor hostage in there. You might notice that Spidey doesn't have a shadow, in spite of this being the Dreamcast version, which is the most superior hardware out of all the ports. If we don't web up these guys quickly enough, then they will in fact shoot the hostages. They won't aim at us, they'll run to the hostages and go and shoot them, as long as there are hostages nearby, that is. So we have to destroy them quick. Man, I'm using a lot of violent words. We have to defeat them quickly.
From the inside. There's gotta be another way in.
In case you couldn't find out that you have to use the vent to get in this room, the game gives you a lot of hints.
Looks like these switches can open the security doors.
The chair in this room has been moved from the center to the side of the room. It was in the center in the PS1 version. Talk about a big change. I do wonder why they changed that, though. The reason we pressed switch 3 first instead of pressing them in order is so we could get the goons out here early. Because if we pressed the switches in order, then the goons would rush into this room because we opened the door to our room as well. But this way we can flank them by coming back through the vent. A lot easier that way, a lot less messy. They do move fast for what that's worth. When Spider-Man crawls on the ceiling, hopefully you've been taking the opportunity to look at his newly modeled abs. His abs are a lot clearer in the Dreamcast version, and so is his much better defined crotch area. Look, they wouldn't change this stuff if they didn't want someone to notice it, and I don't care if I have to be the only person that does that. That guitar sting means this room is pretty dangerous. There are a bunch of hostages in the center here, and there are 2 guards that we can see right away, but there's a third one that patrols the outside of the cubicles, and he always manages to shoot me, no matter how many times I replay this room. One of the more obtusely hidden comics, right here under this chair. You wouldn't even be able to find it without a guide, I imagine, unless you picked up that chair by complete accident, or were trying to hit someone over the head with it.
Ah, going down?
This upcoming area is the first really big stealth segment, maybe the only really big stealth segment. There are a lot of hostages in the cubicles in this room, and there are guys guarding the hostages, and 1 guard patrolling on the outside of the cubicles. The guy on the outside will notice if a hostage leaves, and promptly shoot him from across the room. So we're taking out that guy first.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, I also accidentally alerted 2 more guards, but they take like a full second to fire at the hostages. So even though that's not a whole lot of time, it's enough time to stop them. Thankfully. It's been a very long time since someone's died in this level on my watch, and that would be very depressing. In this vent up here, in kid mode, there is spider armor. I'm not sure why, because it's almost impossible to die in kid mode, and I mean pretty much almost impossible.
Mind if I drop in?
Both of the guys in this room have their back turned to you, so it's very easy to take them out however you want. The TV in this room is portraying static. In the Nintendo 64 version, and only the Nintendo 64 version, that TV screen shows the game screen instead of static. The Nintendo 64 version is also the only one where Spidey has a shadow. Not even the PC version, which is a port of the Dreamcast version, has Spidey's shadow in it.
Uh-oh, more hostages and a bomb. Have to be really careful here.
He is right that we have to be more careful, and that's why we're opening the other door first.
Huh. Big safe. They're messing with us. Start the timer on the bomb and take out all the hostages.
By jumping in there and creating and then quickly breaking our web dome, we can knock all the enemies around in a sort of area of effect attack. It's really good to scatter guys so that way you have more time to think. And we need time to think because we have this giant bomb to deal with. Now you might be thinking, what happens if we just throw it? And the answer is, the timer ticks way faster. But that's still plenty of time. Because the safe is right here, and for some reason this safe is sturdy enough to stop this enormous as hell bomb from destroying anything. Before we shut the door though, we're gonna come back to the other hallway for a second. Because there's a comic that's deviously hidden back here. You'd never think to go backward during this section. That's kinda mean.
Not this time, guys.